Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of Living Safe and Empowered. I'm Brett Lechtenberg and I am the anti-bullying expert who will help you get rid of your bullying problem in 3 days or less. In this week's episode I want to talk about three things. First, the importance of reporting cyberbullying crimes or cyberstalking. Two, my pet peeve, one of my pet peeves, something that still makes me angry when I see this from a parent. And three, a shout out to some young filmmakers. Okay, so point number one. The importance of reporting cyberbullying crimes or cyberstalking, right? This is very important. There's more and more apps coming online, more and more media devices like phones and tablets, computers, different versions of these things all the time. And so we have kids and more people just engaging on computer devices, smartphones, etc. And as we do that, people are trying to fill more and more needs, more and more wants, and so you have more apps and more other social media sites and things like this that are coming online as well, and people are jumping on these and trying them out and see what fits them, etc. Totally natural, totally a good thing, but when that happens, you get more and more people interacting. You're going to get more people that will try to do something negative. They'll try and take a shot at another person. They'll try and kind of live out some kind of fantasy online, whatever the case may be, but they end up hurting other people. Now, it's a really small percentage of overall online users, but it's significant enough that it's a big problem. So it doesn't take much to realize that two things are happening. One, parents, or adults anyway, are not reporting cyberbullying, cyberstalking crimes, generally because they're embarrassed, because they can be sexual in nature at times, or because they think that they should be able to handle it and that it shouldn't be happening to them. Both of those things are false. Remember, you're not at fault for being a victim, and because somebody else is doing something stupid, you should not be embarrassed about that. You need to report it. If nothing else, to help keep this person who's attacking you from attacking someone else. You know, let's leave the world a little better place than what we found it. And if that means we've got to stop somebody from doing something negative to another person, we have an obligation to do that, in my opinion. So we've got to report those things, and adults have to remember that it's not their fault that they got targeted somehow by a cyberbully or cyberstalker. Now with kids, it's a little different. Kids tend to not report cyberbullying issues because a smartphone or their tablet or their computer can be the window to their world. It's their main source of communication with their friends when they're not at school or on a sports team or some other activity. And as we know, this is a big chunk of their world, right? And it's very important to them. So what kids see is they'll hear stories, they'll see things where a kid was cyberbullied and they lost their phone, the parents overreacted, maybe, or something else happened, and these kids are getting their devices taken away, or they're getting restricted usage, or any number of things. And so kids automatically assume that's going to happen to them. That is a big problem. We have to keep the lines of communication open with our children. They have to understand that we will not blame them for being the target. We know that it's not their fault and that they need to come to us and report it. And when they do, we have to handle it rationally and under control and systematically without a ton of emotion. I know it's easy to be emotional, but it's not what's going to help fix the problem. And when you can do that and your children can see that you take concise, non-emotion-based, effective action, then they become more apt to tell you about other things that are going wrong because they'll see you as a help, as a mentor, as a coach, and not as a critic or someone who's going to make things worse. So very important to teach that. Now, if we can work on those things, then cyberbully reporting, I believe, will increase. We'll be able to find more of these people who are doing these things. We'll be able to catch them at what they're doing, and we'll be able to track down the means by which they're doing it, which they're always changing those to make themselves harder to find. So it's really important. Okay, so think about that. Open lines of communication, and know that it's never your fault or your child's fault, and they need to understand that. Now, second, my pet peeve, this really frustrates me. We had a mom come to us about a month ago, and put her son in our program because her son was being bullied. The very first meeting, it took me about 45 minutes to just get this young man to stand still, make eye contact, and behave like a normal 10-year-old and not be so afraid and hiding behind his mom. So they come to a couple classes, I think 2, and kids making some great transformation. Well, he went back to school a few days later, and a bully picked on him again. Now, he hadn't internalized these tools apparently enough that we taught him, and it started to bother him, and he began to kind of shut down again. So what does mom do? She pulls him out of school, doesn't tell anybody what's going on, and lets the kid just stay home, but doesn't go out and seek help. Not for a few days anyway. Then she calls the principal and, as she calls it, played phone tag, right? And never has actually talked to the principal or any teachers. Now, I can't validate how long this has been going on because we finally got mom to come in and see us last night. This is, again, after several weeks. The kid came back with her. Looks like he's been living in his pajamas, hasn't been going to school, and mom has never actually even went to the school to do anything about this or to take further action. Now, I don't dispute anybody's right in the way that they raise their child, but come on. When you are crippling your kids because you are too scared, too lazy, or make whatever excuse to not go take your child's safety seriously and go talk to their teacher or principal, you are in neglect, and that's a problem. So if any of you have a problem with your child being bullied at school, all you have to do is download our free report. It tells you exactly what to do, and the most important thing is go take action, and don't take no or phone tag or any other junk for an excuse. So I don't mean to rant, but I see it happen all the time. And so don't let that happen to you, and don't let that happen to your child, because they deserve better. Anyway, that being said, I want to give a big positive shout out to a couple young men that I read about online from New Zealand. Liam Van Eden and John Martin Fabre, I hope I said their names right. 2 16-year-olds who have created a film that's in the top 20 of it's called the Outlook for Someday Film Challenge in New Zealand, and their film is called Rewind. Sorry for stumbling over that. I think it's great. We got a couple 16-year-old kids who are really going forward and really trying to make the world a more positive and better place through film. And I think that's great. So I want to give them a positive shout out. All right. Well, until next time, I'm Brett Lechtenberg, and as always, if there's anything we can do for you, reach out to us. Get our free report by clicking the link below this video. It's on all the steps that parents need to do to help their child if they're being the victim of a cyberbully. And then hit our Facebook page, the Anti-Bully Program. Give me your feedback on anything that you see or questions that you have, or put them below this video. So until next time, I hope you have a safe and empowered day.